What is up, my ninjas? I'm Strydent, and welcome to my post Powercon video. Yeah, it was a nice time. I got a lot of things prepared. Some stuff worked, some stuff didn't work so well, but the whole experience was awesome. As you can see, we had a full spread. We had all the figures for the futuristic combat soldiers on display, and we had F.I.S.T. And also in this video, we got a little reveal to make. But it was pretty awesome overall, just having everything in one place. And then we were surrounded by so many amazing independent companies. Independent creators, all bringing their love of action figures to the forefront for all of us who are starved for original and well done properties. So for those of you wondering, this was my first PowerCon ever. I had only watched footage on YouTube and checked out images on Toy Arc and some other places. But this was my first time ever, and it was a nice experience. We had an overwhelmingly positive experience, overwhelmingly positive feedback. We had a couple people who were kind of like, trying to be careful, but overall, it was amazing. So I'm gonna go over things and let you know what I saw and what we saw. I had ODCdatsme helping me, and it was awesome. We had so much fun. So we're gonna just, I'm just gonna recap a lot of what we saw, and I'll bring you guys along for the ride. So sit back, relax, get something to drink, something to eat. This is gonna be a long one, and let's do it. We're gonna start off with our friends at Neogen Toys. Neogen is kind of a big umbrella, and they've got several other companies underneath them, such as Fury Toys, as you can see here. I really dug what they had to show what their showing was for this PowerCon. It was nice to see such a variety. I don't even like the street sharks or anything like that, but these particular versions of the sharks were fucking awesome. I think they work better like this than they do as, in their generic, the version that we're all familiar with. These guys look like they could show up in the Ninja Turtles universe and still be a pain in the ass. And it looks like they're expanding. They're just doing all the animals, A swordfish, like a gladiator swordfish. That's fucking phenomenal. I love it. He's kind of got that Tolucan inspired kind of gear, but it looks great, man. And the anglerfish, it was cool because there were things that I knew they made that I had never seen in person. I've only seen them on Big Bad Toy Store, so it was nice to see them in person, see the scale, or the size, I guess I should say. They almost everything is in the same scale, but the heights and the size and the width and the builds vary so greatly. Most of them use some variation of the V-Toys body, and it works. It's kind of a good, somewhat, I don't want to call it a platform, but that's pretty much how it works, and it's a pretty good base to build your figures on because it has such a great range of motion. Don't listen to some of the reviews you've seen online where people had one thing they wanted it to do and it couldn't do it and they just completely dissed the body. It's a great body. It does a lot of stuff well. But yeah, this was a great showing. Next up, we have Super 7. Now, there wasn't too much for me to talk about except for the objects. They had the freaking Cat Slayer there. It was ginormous. It's every Thundercats fan's dream. I'm not going to lie. I'm a fan of Thundercats, and I would love to have something like this, but you would need a separate room. So I just have completely divorced myself from that ever being a thing anytime soon, unless you guys make Invincible Toys uber successful. Because if we are, then I can probably build an addition onto my house or something. Sounds so weird, but you know, I could make some things a reality a little bit faster. But this thing is massive, and it just it's well done. I have to say, this isn't one of the things that I'm gonna call Super Seven, Subpar Seven, like Bobby Vallis says. Um, Definitely quality here. It's a lot. You know, you're getting a decent amount for your money. It should come with figures, but you know, that's kind of pushing it, I think. Sparrow Toys. Now these guys were awesome. I got to talk with a couple of the guys at Sparrow, including Darius or D, head of sales. Um, I did not get to speak to the owner very much, but all the guys I spoke to there were extremely enthusiastic. They're all collectors. They all customize, and they all like had a favorite that they were focused on. And when I saw this guy, I mean, we all spent a good 45 minutes just geeking out on the first day when we came, or second day when he was revealed, just geeking out on this guy. Like, what the fuck? I mean, and that's just a uh, sample. The others are all fully articulated and stuff, and those are ones you could buy there at the show. But the King Hannibal, I think that is, he was just chilling. Uh, they glued him together right before the show. I love that, like, as awesome as everything looked, there was that little, oh my God, gotta get it ready, gotta get it ready. And these guys need no introduction, but it's the Four Horsemen. They had a great showing. I mean, look, they practically own the convention because they're the ones who kind of took it over in Mattel's absence. But man, I mean, they showed a lot of stuff they had, and stuff we'd seen before. Some of the Pox's stuff is on there. I was impressed. A lot of figures that I only knew a little bit about. They had them there on display, and they look great. I'm still sticking to my guns about Mythic Legions. I want them to do a little bit more when it comes to articulation, but the showing that we saw here was pretty phenomenal. Colors looked amazing. Paint jobs were awesome. Some of the poses were cool. The diorama was insane. I mean, you see this stuff. It's just like, man, this is what many of us imagine when we're thinking about playing with these figures. We're looking at them and we're just like, damn, this is fucking dope. And then Cosmic Legions. My Cosmic Legions came in the mail on last Wednesday. So I literally only had a couple days to play with them before I was at Powercon, and I got completely bum rushed by all this quality right here. And look at these guys. There's so many crazy reveals. My youngest son got a one of their exclusives, which was that science officer you see right there. There was a version of him with like a darker costume, and his suit is set up. Those two right there were the actual exclusive. Um, but man, or exclusives, I should say. Slog looks amazing. Um, it's just such a quality looking line. And then the figures themselves are well done. They have more range of motion than what we're used to from the Legions. And for me, that's the important thing. I need the range of motion so that if they come with a gun, especially if it's a rifle, they can two-hand that rifle. I had to speak loudly, so my voice is a little hoarse, and I apologize. But I mean, look at that, the Greyborn. I like them. I've read ODC and I spent, I think, the night before last. We were up just looking at the bios for these guys, and man, some of them really cool. Some of them need some work, but the lore is pretty damn dope. Yeah, that's the one that my son got, though, that we found out was an exclusive because it was the only thing they had there. But look at these guys. He's one of the newer figures. I can't remember what wave he's for, but it's not wave one. Um, just quality. It's just all kinds of quality through and through. It's kind of weird too because normally, we'd be on. You can see ODC's face right there in a reflection, but normally we would be seeing this stuff on Toy Arc. So to be there was special because we normally get to see it from, like almost like hearsay. You know what I'm saying? But they just so much goodness. I mean, look at the amount of pictures I took and ODC took because there was just so much to see, and there were so many characters that were unique enough that it was like I have to show this to everyone. You know what I mean? Everyone needs to see these guys. So for those who aren't really big on Mythic Legions or Cosmic Legions, if you see these, it might change your mind. For those of you who are really big on Mythic Legions and Cosmic Legions already, you're going to just be happy to get more of what you already know they're capable of. And it was funny, the Four Horsemen had so much support, such a big fan base, and such a big showing. I think they're called the Mythic Legions Cabal. They all showed up. Many of them showed up. They were there in force. Let's put it like that. Hopefully, we will have the same kind of you know backup, same kind of following once we get our stuff off the ground completely. This is where we're at right now is just the beginning. But I mean, look at that. And these were all the reveals. I think these were put up the second night. I mean, Jesus. These figures, they just, it's like there are aspects of what they do that 100% just inspires your imagination. It just fuels your imagination. And I think that's the biggest strength of the Horsemen. I don't know how they do it, but you can tell where they're reusing things, and it's kind of a good lesson to companies like Hasbro. You could reuse things and still make pretty original designs. I mean, like the creativity on display, the amount of detail on some of these characters. Look at that coat. You know, it's just this right here is giving me flashbacks to Mad God. I don't know if any of you seen that. That shit is fucked up, but it's awesome because it's a stop motion film, and some of the designs in there are pretty damn imaginative. I mean, everything's fairly imaginative. Just some of it is so fucked up. It's kind of like, you're like, ugh. But yeah, look at these guys. I mean, damn, look at the green on the little alien dude. Awesome stuff. Savage Crucible. Man, I had fun talking to these guys. It's like out of nowhere, they came up and they did exactly the things that I was looking for when I started collecting. Mythic Legions, and it's like they're filling in gaps that Mythic Legions left. But everything is really well done. Lots of articulation, lots of really inventive paint work going on, and the Frazetta influence cannot be understated. So everything that you normally get from your Mythic Legions, you have with your Mythic Legions, and then you get a different aesthetic with these guys. I mean, look at that barbarian. You've seen videos of mine where I talk about figures having the ability to hold their weapons correctly. Characters being able to do things that the whatever genre they fit into, things that are common with that genre. You need your toys to actually be able to do that stuff. Barbarians should be able to assume the poses we see in high fantasy artwork. So, seeing it here and seeing that it can do that, it's amazing stuff. Seeing a little bit less armor and more like, you know, different types of clothing, materials, leather, armor, things like that. It's pretty cool. I mean, we have it in Mythic Legions, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they don't have it, but seeing how they chose to tackle similar stuff, it's phenomenal, man. It's phenomenal. So, yeah, these guys, they blew me away. And they only had a few things on display, but it was enough for you to see what the pedigree is of what we're working with. And what's funny is, like I said, this was the first time I had been at a con where everybody was, the majority of the exhibitors were independent and came up either during the pandemic or right after the pandemic, almost as a result. And it was glorious. you know? And to see many of these guys, not necessarily, I didn't see the four horsemen, they were busy. But I saw the Savage Crucible guys, took time to talk to everybody. Um, the well, I'll get to it. Other guys, several other guys, came to talk to us, during the show, after the show, each day, and we made sure to show the love too. But just geeking out with people with minds that produce this kind of stuff was a phenomenal experience. It's not always the case. You know what I mean? It is not always the case. But I mean, it's almost to be expected when you're here now. Action Force. So Valaverse. Me and ODC bought a ton of Valaverse stuff. I think I picked up like 5 things from them. I never had a Condor, so I picked up Condor. I picked up Kill Switch. I picked up um, Gemini, and then I picked up Bone Collector and that red. I need to remember the name of that thing. The Swarm Horde Trooper. I picked up one of those with the Bone Collector, and I love them. I mean, look at the freaking the truck. I mean, we've all seen it, so I figured I had to go back over it. But these were some more upcoming figures, some were exclusive to the con. But this diorama was phenomenal. It is phenomenal. I don't know who was responsible for this whole thing, but you guys did the damn thing. It's just fun to see, and the fact that like it's a little bit less, you know, colorful in comparison to like GI Joe, which is all these colors, and it's not very, for as much as you hear the real world talk, it's not very real world, but this works. This gives you that little piece to the puzzle. And behind our setup, you would find us playing around with the Valaverse figures that we picked up. It was fun. It was fun. My son, my youngest, he was there with me, and the whole time we were goofing off. When in between talking, giving people the spiel, he picked up Blue Marvel, and we were like, yeah, let's put these all together. Like Blue Marvel's leading the charge, and they're like the Shield agents, kind of backing them up. But it was fun. It was definitely fun checking them out. Bobby had all the attention, man, all the attention. But I guess it deserved. Now, even though Bobby and the Horsemen got all the attention, to me, the best of show is right here, and that's Fresh Monkey Fiction. They had a little case that drew my eye and ODC's and many people, and that was Monster Force, Operation Monster Force. These figures here, I came back, at least a couple times each day just to marvel at these guys because the idea is genius. It's one of those things where it's like, why haven't we seen a movie of this yet? You got someone unearths a big bad pharaoh type, a dark pharaoh using weird, dark magic, and then zombies, vampires, all that shit starts showing up, and Declan Van Helsing ends up having to team up with Dracula, pool their resources to stop this evil pharaoh called the Forgotten King, and they end up getting funded and assisted by Eagle Force. I was like, what the fuck? Why? Look at all the evolution. Eagle Force, of all things, goes from having a bunch of guys that are kind of like pastiches and homages to GI Joe, and now they've done their own thing where there's so much development. And make no mistake, the story's dope. We got the source book. Thanks ODC, because he picked one up for me. And it explains a lot about the different characters. You see, that's Agent Grimm right there, which underneath that is John Wick, essentially. I don't know if he's exactly the same character, but I know the code name is one of their 3 3/4 inch figures. Yamatai. I like what they're doing because everybody can get in where they fit in. Everybody. It's not like you're going to find yourself at a loss for character archetypes. And there's a couple that you're going to see in a little bit that just, the Eraser you already saw. That was the Invisible Man type dude. The Killer Warg was pretty awesome. That was the werewolf operative. Um, the Forgotten King is the guy you see there in the suit with the Egyptian style stuff, and the guy next to him in all the gear is Declan Van Helsing. And Dracula is over here on the edge. That's Dracula. It's more of the old school aristocratic, almost Castlevania-esque Dracula. It would have been awesome if he was like really albino looking. I would have loved that. But they're doing the damn thing. I mean, I don't have any gripes with anything I saw here. No gripes, none whatsoever. I was just impressed. I usually don't like when they take the generic route with like Nazi-esque characters, but it fits in this narrative, because you're just taking all the supernatural baddies and you're turning them into, I don't want to say fodder, but I mean to some degree they're going to end up being fodder for your various forces within this line. I just couldn't believe it. And the guys there, Chris and I want to say Bill. Pretty sure. So cool. They were so chill, so cool, so like, I don't know. They were just, it was fun to talk to them. Chris came by and spoke to us a couple times, and I had to give him props about his Blockbuster card, business card. That thing was awesome. His Blockbuster style, it's Bill Murphy. His Blockbuster style business card was amazing. And this guy right here, Chatsworth, are you fucking kidding me? A fucking Sasquatch with a giant chain gun? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Dude, I usually don't care, but look at him. Look at him. Let's fucking go. Look at him. Ask ODC. I lost my shit, man. I was laughing about him the whole time because I was like, it's Harry and the Hendersons. It's fucking Harry from Harry and the Hendersons with a chain gun, blasting away zombies and shit. And look at his face. He doesn't even look evil or like mean or like crazy, but he is a Sasquatch, so that's a lot of power right there. You know what I mean? So I just dig the whole nature of this thing, like it piques my interest. A long time ago, I wrote a story that had it focused on devil hunters. I went more of the supernatural magic route. There are some gunners in that story. Maybe we'll do something where I can put some of those guys, mix them up with these guys. We'll see. But man, this is up my alley. And Halloween Boy, what is this guy's story? I need to know more about Halloween Boy. He looks crazy. He looks like the Phantom's crazy cousin with his flaming sword, and man, this stuff is phenomenal. And also, if you notice, it does say weapons by Gridiron Studios. It's more collaboration. This is the thing that when people start throwing around the term community, I'm like, show me, because I don't see the community. But then in this instance, here in this realm, there is a ton, a metric ton of collaboration going on, a ton of support from others in the field. There's a ton of beef too, but there's a ton of collaboration, and that's what we need more of, because that's gonna get us. Everyone will win. Everybody wins. That'll get us the biggest win. You know what I'm saying? All of us will get better stuff. Just plain and simple. I mean, long and short of it. Spark was another line that Fresh Monkey Fiction is pushing out, and it looks really good. It's more of the traditional sci-fi stuff, probably spacefaring, but there's zombies and stuff in space as well. I like this reoccurring theme of people dealing with zombies and space, and I like that right there because that reminds me of like a wayfinder or an AI that's in there, like, you know, wrist-mounted computers. You see that dude has a cybernetic arm, and he also has another one of those wrist-mounted computers. It's just really dope stuff, and they look to be very posable if you look at the images in the background. And that spacesuit looks really good. I almost picked up those two Fortnite characters that were in spacesuits because of the design of spacesuits, and we don't normally get that. So, you know, I was geeked to see it, but I'm loving this stuff, man. It's like D Amazing said, it's the golden age of of collecting. It's the golden age of action figures, and it is. Everything that you can think of is being done by someone in action figure form, and it all looks so good. I mean, there's some stuff that's kind of like meh, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of stuff that's like, holy shit, this is amazing. Um, I'm geeked. I don't know about you guys, but I'm geeked. And this right here had me completely geeked. I was just like, man, you guys are really doing magical stuff, you know?
And now for a special announcement.
Just a little something I've been saving. I hope you dug it. And when I present it, it will be special. But for real, this is a project I've been working on for a long time. It's been made with a lot of love and care, and I'm really anxious to show you what I'm doing. So I'm going to be doing some videos in the near future, chronicling the process, and everything from sketch to actual figure. So you'll get to see what we've learned in action on display with these figures. So remember, stay tuned, and you'll see it all. The Foosh. So, the Foosh, this was a fun development. And there's Trevor Zammit, actually from NECA, standing next to us. Little fun fact I went to school with Trevor, and we hadn't talked in a long time. I saw him on a podcast, and I was like, when I last saw you, you didn't have all that hair and beard and all that. And I realized that's my homeboy from school. So seeing him here was pretty awesome, knowing that like stuff I've bought for the last 10 years from NECA, he was responsible for. It was pretty awesome. So I love seeing my homeboys make it. But Jube Yagyu, I love ninjas. So I always had a love-hate kind of situation with the Foosh, the articulated icons ninja. They were expensive, but they were necessary. And so when I got mine, I waited till they were on sale, found them, and I felt like for what you were getting, the price was better. Here, you're getting a headlining character that happens to be a ninja, kind of a historical figure, and getting him in two nice varieties. And the articulation looks to be on point. The quality of the overall build of the figure feels more legit, and I mean, it's from an anime almost all of us have seen, and we saw all the people our age saw it at a specific point in our lives, and it kind of directed how we like what we like in our anime and what we like when it comes to ninjas and fighting in anime and stuff like that. So, Ninja Scroll is definitely one of those IPs that it's kind of cool that they were able to get that, and we're going to get a quality figure. I'm kind of surprised that we haven't really gotten any of this before, but it was awesome chatting with Robo. Robo and I spoke a number of times. He came by a lot. We talked to him several times. Very cool dude, man. I'm glad I got a chance to meet him. Kind of changed a little bit of my perspective on the Foosh in general.
Damn. Death dealer.
awesome. Wow. It's funny, when I was in college, I went to the School of Visual Arts, and I had teachers there who actually included Frazetta in the art history section because they always stop before the modern guys, you know? So he included Frazetta, Julie, and Boris, like all the fantasy guys. And then when I came here, I went to CCAD also, and they made a change here to include them as well. So I was like, hey, this is awesome.
The original fantasy.
Exactly, this is awesome. Wow.
The range from the jungle atmosphere
I know.
to the fantasy.
It's awesome.
All in one. This piece just sold recently for $6 million.
$6 million!
Yeah.
And it's awesome. I mean, the detail on it is crazy. And the movement. I mean, yeah, dude was amazing.
The anatomy on everything too.
Yeah. He drew like real woman bodies.
Yes. Did not like to draw pants either.
No. No pants. Yeah. Wow. And I sound like a dork, but I have so much of this stuff. I have prints from other shows, and I've got art. I've got a bunch of these art books with his work in it. Frazetta, Boris, Julie Bell, who's the other muscle? Jusko, Joe Jusko.
Yeah.
I have a whole bunch of that stuff. Looking at these guys is what allowed me to kind of have a leg up when I was in school. So now it's nice to see more people appreciating it, you know?
It's like a mini resurgence right now with everything.
True, with like Sword and Sandals fantasy in general. I'm like, okay, I love that. I'm not going to complain. I love this. I love this.
So this was the original. They asked him to redo it, so he just kind of did it with a smiley face and a little more Halloween color.
Yeah, I know this is real creepy.
Yeah.
Especially the eyes on the horse. Oof. That would be terrifying. But I mean, that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
It's the Headless Horseman, you know what I mean? It's not supposed to be friendly.
This is
these
actually
are cool.
watercolor on that one.
Dang. I wonder if for this particular watercolor, was he using like Doc Martens, or was this like gouache that was building up? Oh, he would
He
know.
may know. He may
Okay.
know.
I mean, it kind of feels. Do you know if? So he used watercolor here. Was it Doc Martens or gouache, or was it a combination? Do you know?
I think he kind of just went. So, okay, this is gonna sound weird. He used Disney watercolors.
Oh wow, really?
That was it.
That's
So,
awesome.
I'm not sure the process as far as it was gouache or not like that.
Yeah.
I've seen him as a kid paint watercolors.
Yeah.
His watercolors are usually very tight. Occasionally, he would add oil to them to kind of keep things the way they should be.
Yeah.
But in general, it's just basic watercolors. He was very poor growing up. He was a starving artist like everybody else.
Oh yeah.
So even as a kid, again, I went to the studio one day and he had a Donald Duck watercolor set. I was like, Grandpa, what the hell is that? And he
Yeah.
said, I like Disney watercolors and the cheap. And that
Yeah,
was
you can
it.
afford it. Yeah, it makes sense.
So that's why he used them. So I don't know. I'd have to ask my dad actually the process behind these. But I didn't even realize this was watercolor until like a month or two back.
I didn't realize it until he said something. I
His
didn't.
watercolors were tight.
Yeah.
We have a couple of the really, really tight ones in the museum.
Yeah.
And seeing them, I always ask them, what do you think this is like made with? And they say, it kind of looks colored pencil-ish, but it also doesn't. It's like,
Yeah.
it's watercolor. And they're like, holy
It's
shit.
the texture, I know, but to hear it's watercolor and something that basic, like, you know, but it's not always the tools.
Yeah, it's the guy.
You know, the guy using the tools can do amazing
And it
things,
was,
you know?
So a funny example of that is my dad and his cousin bought a wood burner once for this thing.
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
were screwing around with it, trying to get it to really like work and trying to draw with it. They put it down for like 10 minutes. My grandpa walks up while they were gone and actually wood burns a lion into it. Never touched one in his life. Draws this gorgeous lion, and my uncle still has it actually.
Damn.
And it's just, he knew what to do with everything. It didn't matter what you gave him. He just did it, and he was like the best at it. He was unbelievable.
Awesome.
Yeah, his watercolors, I do have to ask about it.
Yeah.
I doubt if he even brought up gouache or anything like that to my grandfather.
Yeah.
He would know what it meant.
Yeah.
Because he just kind of picked shit up and said, all right, let's try this.
Exactly.
And it just worked.
Yeah,
There's
that's
so many
awesome.
techniques that didn't really have a name to him that have a name and you
Yeah.
didn't really realize. But yeah, this piece being watercolor, it's
Fucking amazing,
yeah,
man.
and you could tell looking at it versus an oil, you can see, okay, that kind of does look watercolory or like
Yeah.
even acrylic.
Yeah.
But he hated acrylics. He didn't like
Yeah.
acrylics. They were just, the colors back then were too flat. It didn't really capture color too well.
Yeah.
So he stuck with oils and then again watercolors occasionally. And his watercolors for me as a grandkid, I get attached to him because as a kid,
you can use them. Yeah.
But as a kid, he would never, whenever he draws something for us, it was always watercolors and sketches and stuff. Never oils. He worked in oils because that's what people wanted him to paint in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he'd rather ink, he'd rather watercolor, to be honest. So
Yeah, dude's phenomenal.
No, he was honestly
phenomenal.
As a human being, man, he was the coolest guy ever. Like, most genuine, deserving guy I had ever met in my life.
That's awesome. And that's part of your childhood.
Yeah,
man.
no, and that's the thing, is like, he was grandpa to me.
Yeah.
So I'd go over and, like, if he was painting, he'd stop. Like, oh, let's go play Super Nintendo. I'm like, no, keep painting. He's like, no, I'm good. I'm done painting for the day. And we'd just sit there, eat candy together, play Super Nintendo. He'd watch me play like Mario or like Battletoads. Or we'd watch old films. Like he was, and then like if I felt like maybe my grandma would walk me with plates of food and stuff. And it was just, like they were the most loving grandparents, and I had such a like I lived with them. My grandmother died when I was 16-ish. Grandpa passed when I was 17. So I had a great 16, 17 years with people, and I'm so grateful for who they were because they really instilled good values. Because again, they grew up very poor.
Exactly, that old school values. Yeah,
it was very traditional, but also what was cool in their relationship too was that, I mean, back in those days, the man ran everything. Not in that case.
Yeah. Well, in the forefront, the man did, but behind the scenes, usually mom or grandma was doing everything.
And the cool thing is when you hear Frank Frazetta, Ellie Frazetta, like everybody knows Ellen.
Yeah.
She ran. This was her printing business.
That's exactly what I heard. Yeah.
I remember. I tell you the Dark Horse story.
No.
Dark Horse. I remember. So my grandma was always talking to business guys.
Yeah.
And my grandfather never did. So one day I'm over at their house with my brother. And we hear Grandma talking to the phone. She's getting aggressive with somebody. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And I'm like, Grandpa, who's she talking to? He goes, I don't know. Business guy, probably. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I walk up, and I was like, you okay, Grandpa? She's like, yeah. These guys are just aggressive. Okay. She comes up to me later, and she goes, what was that thing you wanted? I was like, what? She goes, I think you keep talking about it. I was like, Xbox 360? She goes back to the phone. She goes, if we're going to do this deal, I need an Xbox 360 as well. And Dark Horse sent me an Xbox 360.
What? Later. Dark Horse Publications.
Yeah, sent me an Xbox 360.
What the
I was like, what the fuck, Grandma?
All right. So, the fun part, the really, really, really fun part, because this is the spoils of our time there. We spent equal time speaking with different people, sculptors, fans, or potential patrons, as in people who want to buy our figures. But here's the stuff we managed to pick up in between all of that. So you can see we gave the animal warriors of the kingdom some love. My older son collected the smaller figures, the 4-inch figures, but Sparrow wanted to move into 6-inch since that's the most popular scale in the US right now. So we picked up a few. I got this for free from the McFarlane booth. He was giving away all kinds of stuff, which was crazy. And I think it's stuff that may not have sold so well, or that they just had overstock of. I guess that doesn't matter. It was free. This thing is massive. It's amazingly articulated. If you want to have dragons and stuff in your various Sword and Sandals universes, or say you want to have demons that happen to be dragon size for your 4-inch figures or something, this would be amazing for that. Poses like a dream. It comes with that stand. Takes up a lot of space, but because it has the stand, it's out of the way. So yeah, this is a Banshee from Avatar. Definitely, if you see these, pick them up. I know I've been seeing them at Target on clearance, so I honestly don't care whose Banshee I get. Even if they're the same, I'm gonna get a few more because these things are fucking phenomenal. I mean, look how big they are. Look at that. Fucking, there's transparencies, there's layers to the paint. I mean, I was thoroughly impressed. I spent a lot of time at the Valiverse. I went back and picked up a whole bunch of stuff that I hadn't seen, or hadn't had a chance to pick up in the past. So I finally got Condor. He's the leader of the Action Force, British SAS. I think he's a captain. I went and got the Bone Collector, who is one of the main villains. I saw the setup at Valaverse's booth, and I just had to. Picked up Gemini. I told you guys when I saw Bobby reveal her that she was like a must-get for me. So I got her, and I got the Wasp Horde Trooper. Swarm Horde Trooper. I love this thing. And I got Kill Switch, Team Sniper. And what's funny is months before this, I pre-ordered Shooter from Hasbro, who looks to be an amazing figure as well. Then these are the Cosmic Legions that I got. I had them up because I did pick up 2 Cosmic Legions figures. I picked up Olek, that's the guy you see in the middle with the blue skin and the red eyes on the top of his head and all that. And I picked up the Science Officer. I picked up one for my son, but the others all came in the mail earlier last week. I want to say Wednesday of last week. I finally got the Marvel Legends Sleepwalker. For those of you who don't know, Sleepwalker was one of my favorite characters growing up. I know he was short-lived, but he popped up here and there. I love this character. I got the Infinity War Bucky for $10, complete with everything, even the little, ground effect. ODC was nice enough to pick up Deadeye Duck from Bucky O'Hare for me. I've been wanting him for a while, and I just kept forgetting about him, and he saw him for a good price. Here is my character from the Warriors of the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. I got the Lynx. These guys here, the Dread Trooper. These were done by Grindhouse Toys, who is the painter for Eagle Force and Operation Monster Force. So I talked to him for a minute. I had been wanting to get one, but whenever I checked the site, it was gone. So I got one now. Now here are some of the figures ODC got. Now as you can see, he got some of the same stuff I got, but he got some different ones. Vorga, he did the review for her. She's up on his channel right now. He also got Kragnar while we were at the convention. He picked up a lot more stuff than I did. Hulkling, Sentry, one of the Stepford Cuckoos. He got Ninja Spawn, a figure I got a while back. He missed out on it back in the day. I guess he said around his way he wasn't seeing a lot of this stuff. So at the con we saw everything. So, filled up a lot of spots, and there's Dubon. And that just about wraps up what we got over the con. So I hope you guys dug my coverage. I did leave out some places because I didn't get to spend as much time there as I wanted to. I did make it over to the NECA booth, but I didn't get to record any footage. I spent some time at the 4 Horsemen booth and didn't get to record any footage. Other than the images I showed you. There were a couple other ones, the Beasts of the Cenozoic. Holy shit. If you want to talk about some cool shit there, I spent more time talking and I had my camera in my pocket or my phone in my pocket, so I didn't record anything. But man, wait till you see what those guys are making. Holy shit. I'm telling you, this is much like The Amazing said, whose booth I also went over to, and he came and talked to us a bunch. It's a great time to be a collector, man. And if you can make it out to these shows, it really shows you how many of us are actually fed up with I shouldn't say fed up, but we're annoyed with what the big companies have been doing, and we've taken it upon ourselves to rectify all that. Give people like us product that meets our needs. You know what I'm saying? Not shit that's all, tied to specifically what the shareholders want to see, but stuff that collectors want to see, stuff that big kids want to see, stuff that, when we get older and our kids get older, our kids will look at this stuff and be like, damn, remember this? Stuff that will stand the test of time. And I think a handful of what you've seen so far, you're going to see these things for a long time. I don't want to get into the politics of who I think is what is going to be, long term and who won't, because, it's kind of a toss up, but I guarantee you that a bunch of the producers, the companies you've seen, they're going to be here for a while, and their properties are going to be here for a while, because the spirit of what got us into collecting in the first place is on display with all those figures. So, you know, shout out to The Amazing, shout out to Robo from the Foosh, shout out to the Mythic Legions and the Cosmic Legions Cabal. Ryan, shout out to you. I will eventually get on that group. One of those two groups, I promise. I will eventually get on there. I just don't, I'm not on Facebook as much as I used to be. Shout out to Grindhouse Toys. Shout out to Fresh Monkey Fiction. You guys are awesome. Thanks for talking to us. Oh, shout out to Chicken Fried Toys. I spent some time talking to them too. Talking about cops and talking about we spent a lot of time talking about Fortnite figures, the 4-inch ones, because people sleep on them, but there's some bangers in there, man. Some figures that they give Joy Toy a run for their money because the designs are just so good. Shout out to Titan Creations. I spent a lot of time talking to Mac over there. His book, Soul War, is amazing, and the figures that go with them are awesome. They're in the vein of classic kind of vinyls, but they're not vinyls. They're full on, you know, sculpted ABS figures, but they're big and chunky like the vinyls, and they're kaiju. So, you know, if you get a chance, look for that series. It's called Soul War. It's a one-shot graphic novel. I want to say it goes for about $20, and it's really dope. And the figures are awesome. They're huge, and they go for about $34, about the same price as our figures, $34, $35. So yeah, shout out to Mac. It was nice meeting you, nice talking to you for a while over there. You know, shout out to Trevor. Shout out to Most Epic, Mike Watson. Me and him go way back. We went to school together. We used to work on our comics side by side. I redesigned Hotshot, Void, and Justice for his comics. So the looks that you see in that book are looks that I designed. And I did do a pass on Gravita. I don't know what she looks like right now. I haven't seen her comics in a long time. But you might see some older images from, you know, back when he first started that book of Gravita, and just know I had a hand in that. Big hands, big feet. Yeah, I did that. She had these big gauntlets and these cool big feet because there's her boots had to adjust for the gravity, help her adjust for the gravity, and so did the gloves. But anyway, shout out to all of you guys, man. This was awesome. It was nice. Shout out to the Savage Crucible team. You guys are awesome. And keep doing what you're doing. Hopefully your line will be just as successful as the other Sword and Sandal lines out there. Mattel is probably quaking in their boots because of how all these independent folks are coming for that ass. You know, He-Man is not alone anymore. Now it's, you know, different dimensions of Sword and Sandals are starting to come to the forefront. Frazetta Girls and the Frazetta Museum. Shout out to Frank. Shout out to the Frazetta Girls team. Their Barbarian looks awesome. If you look around, you may find a picture on Instagram of the Frazetta Barbarian team with from Frazetta Girls with the Savage Crucible team with their warrior as well. It just, like I said, great time. The Amazing was dead on the money. It is a golden age of action figures. So anyway, that is my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you for sticking with me and watching this all the way through, and I will catch you on the next video. That's it for me. You've been great. Peace outside.